What's up, y'all? It's Jordan from North American Adventures. You join Eric and I on another adventure to the Conlin family farm. The winter cold is thawing away and the sun is starting to come out in Michigan, which means it's syrup season, and only for about 20 days. In this multi-day video, we tap trees, collect and boil sap, and bottle some delicious Michigan-made maple syrup. If you enjoy the content, make sure to like and subscribe. Day 1 of our sweet escape was dedicated to setting up reservoirs for collecting maple sap. 5-gallon buckets with lids work perfect for this purpose, and to prep the trees, we use a mallet and drill with a 13/32 bit attachment. Picking the right tree is essential. It's definitely best to use established sugar maples around 40 years old, although we were using red maples for our syrup. For smaller operations like ours, we also like accessible trees to cut down on the physical labor.
You ready?
Yeah.
I got burnt in my mouth.
When drilling flow holes for the sap, it's important to maintain an upwards angle and only go about 1.5 inches deep into the trunk of the tree. After drilling, 7/16" diameter plastic spiles, or taps, attached to 2-foot tubing, are inserted into the holes. They are lightly hammered with the mallet or tapped until there is a noticeable sound change when striking. The tubing is then fed through pre-drilled holes in the bucket reservoirs so the sap can easily flow and collect. We avoid tapping trees smaller than 12 inches in diameter. Most trees will only get one tap hole unless their trunks are greater than 18 inches in diameter, in which case they can have two. After putting in several more taps near the front of the property, we move toward the heavily wooded back area of the property, which gets really wet during the change of season. The sap seemed to be flowing really good here, so Tyler decided to place 3 or 4 more buckets and according taps around the edge of the flooded forest. In comparison to other natural sweeteners like corn syrup, honey, and white and brown sugar, maple syrup has the highest amounts of manganese, riboflavin, zinc, magnesium, calcium, and potassium. Pure maple syrup also has one of the lowest calorie levels of common sweeteners. In terms of its historical precedence, the production of pure maple syrup is the oldest agricultural enterprise in the United States. It's also just darn tasty. Sap flows best with cold nights in the 20s and daytimes in the 40s, so we were hoping for a favorable temperature fluctuation overnight. By the end of the day, we had completed about 6 or 7 sap collecting sites. Now it was just a waiting game for our bucket reservoirs to collect enough sweet sap to make some even sweeter syrup. The next day, we began prepping our sugar shack area for the big boil. Boiling can take all day and has to be done outside or in a devoted area for the amount of water vapor given off throughout the process. We filled the evaporator pans with 1 bucket of clear sap Tyler had already collected, and then got the fire started in the barrel evaporator. With the boil begun, we headed back towards the woods to gather the remaining buckets of maple sap. After less than a day, these were half, if not mostly full. Sap can spoil quickly, so it was ideal that overnight temperatures were cool enough and we could get right to boiling. At the sugar shack, the barrel evaporator seemed to be holding temperature really well, insulated with cinder blocks on the outside and ceramic bricks on the inside. The evaporator pan closest to the smokestack always runs hotter, so new sap is ladled from the front pan to the back pan. Ideally, boiling temperatures are maintained between 212 degrees Fahrenheit and 218 degrees Fahrenheit as sap is gradually added to the back pan. Tyler also uses a small strainer to skim any impurities that might float to the surface. You can really see the difference in sugar concentration and therefore color between the sap boiling in the back pan versus the front pan. The last remaining contents of the front evaporator pan are added to the rear once boiling nears its end. Then water is added to the front pan to clean off any residue. We let the back pan boil for a while longer until a manageable amount was left to bring inside for further reduction. Tyler poured this pre-syrup or semi-reduced sap through a paper filter directly into a stainless steel stock pot to eliminate impurities from the outdoor boil. Now we could close down the sugar shack and head to the reduction room. Really just the kitchen though. This step is arguably the most important. The boiled sap must be reduced until it reaches 7 degrees above the boiling point of water, about 219 degrees Fahrenheit. We began the reduction process at 1:48 p.m. and by 2:24 p.m. the liquid level had dropped by about 30% in the stock pot. Just under an hour later and it was already developing a really nice caramel color. At 50% reduction, the smells coming off the stovetop were almost too tantalizing. It took tremendous willpower to keep our fingers out of the pot. At around 3:40 p.m., our wait had finally ended, and we achieved the ultimate goal of turning sap to sweet, sweet syrup. One last filter step assured the complete removal of leftover niter and any other debris. And a temperature check ensured the syrup was perfect for bottling and storage, about 185 to 190 degrees Fahrenheit. Hot, 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 hot. 40 gallons of sap to produce 1 gallon of syrup is the standard ratio for the process with sugar maples, and with red maples about 60 to 1. For the 15, maybe 12 gallons of sap we collected, we produced 2.5 pints of syrup. Not too shabby. Making syrup is certainly a labor of love. It takes timing, patience, and the right materials, as well as a little elbow grease. But the fruits of said labor are well worth it. Many pancakes, waffles, and French toast to come. Thanks for watching. If you like the content, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit the bell for notifications down below. See you in the next one. Peace.